Like language and communication has got nothing to do with non-duality in a way. Like language is just a practicality. Like you say, I have been shopping. You don't have to say nobody has been shopping. Not Lisa has been shopping. You don't even need to bring it up in conversation, because conversation, like the way in which you think and speak, has got nothing to do with non-duality. It might make you more free on the human level because your brain isn't going into neurotic thinking so much, so it's like more settled, but that's actually nothing to do with non-duality. Like non-duality is this presence which is experiencing right now, which isn't separate from everything that's happening. There isn't even a presence that's separate. There isn't even a consciousness that's separate from what's happening. That consciousness is everything. It doesn't even need to be talked about, but yet it gets talked about. And it's a total mystery as to where words come from. Like the person is always thinking it's me and always feels like it's my mind in time that is producing this. And that's a functioning in which we can discuss. But when we come to this moment, it's actually that everything is coming from no place and no time, from absolute mystery. And that is so freaking beautiful. That is so beautiful. That is love. To me, that is love. To see that words right now come from nothing. No thing. So if it's not a thing, then it's everything by default. The room comes from not a place. The tree comes from not a place. The bookshelf comes from not a place. Not a thing. Nothing. So you could also see the tree comes from everything. The bookcase comes from everything. My words come from everything. This is everything speaking. Everything looking, everything hearing. You could also say consciousness if you want, but consciousness is, you could, like, consciousness is misunderstood. You could also say consciousness is a functioning, but yeah. It doesn't matter, these details. It's more this resonance with what's being spoken. That this is God. So when you say everything, that also could be replaced with God. Or when you say nothing, you could also replace that with God. So it's God speaking, God hearing, God planting, bookshelf, bookshelf godding, no, God bookshelfing. But the problem when you say God is that this goes right to the heart of the human's narcissism. I am God! Yes, yes, baby! Ookie dookie dookie! I am God! I always knew I was God! I always knew I was the center of the earth! Hello, Edie. I'm talking to my computer, aren't I? You see, that's the problem with mentioning that word, is that storyteller, that illusory self, loves that because then it feels very superior to other beings. And often the ego and the person, the separate sense of self, feels very inferior, so it's always looking for things to make it feel better about itself. And that's not it too. This is very humbling in a way, because it's saying that you, the illusory you, is a functioning, and it doesn't really exist. But the watcher, that which is watching, which isn't a thing, and is all things, is God. So that also means on the depth, on the deepest level, that there is nothing that can attack you, there's nothing that can hurt you, there's nothing that can take away you, freedom, that sense of being. pain and pleasure can come, but there's nothing that can take that inherent sense of being, that inherent looking. So there's never a place in which you can be unsafe. The person can feel fear, but that which you are isn't afraid. That fear is part of what happens in the human bodies. They are what we call mammals, and they have these fear. I don't know what that's called. Raptors? No. These fear things in the brain. And this is all that's wanted, is to know yourself. It's not wanted the end of fear. It's not wanted the end of arguments or the end of pleasure and pain. That's part of being human. It's what's wanted is to know yourself on the deeper level. That's the end of seeking. It's this home, this feeling at home. The person always feels like it's lost home, even if that's very subtle. It always feels like it's on a mission to try to get somewhere because it's kind of lost something, but it doesn't really know what it's lost or what it's looking for. And it gets all these ideas, and it likes to go on missions and tell itself its stories about these missions. But it can't really get to that freedom, because that freedom is what you are. It can make the human more balanced and make the life more comfortable and be more at peace. But the freedom is this moment. It's what's happening.